新加坡，一个狭小的岛国，面积只有美国洛杉矶的一半，自然资源匮乏，却是全球经济强国。许多人认为，新加坡成功的秘诀在于它的教育制度。
In the Singapore system, we have this idea that every child can learn.
如今，新加坡的教育制度即将面临新的变革。
What we are seeing now is that there are new needs.
We got to make things happen.
这是一个尽量不让一个孩子掉队的教育制度。
There's an ability in every child. It's not the same ability, and we've got to find a way of drawing it out.
When we first started, well, technically we are a school for failures.
2名小学生即将面临一场至关重要的考试。
While I was walking to class, my heart was thumping very fast.
I can't do it, I can't do it.
These national exams are high-stake exams.
Going to fail already.
成功或者失败，一场无声的变革即将开始。新加坡，一个文化大熔炉，汇聚了4个种族、4种语言，以及世界各大宗教。在孩子们看来，这里非常有趣。伊莎贝尔里12岁了，6年级课程学习已经过半。今天对她来说非常重要，因为她要参加小6会考。
The days and the nights before PSLE were actually very tense and not so relaxed.
Weeks or even months before the PSLE, we definitely feel a lot of tension.
为了确定学生的发展方向，新加坡的教育部设置了一系列考试。首先是小6会考。
To the child, it is so important because it will determine to a large extent where you will go to in secondary school.
Things were running through my head. What if I don't pass my maths? What if I don't go into a good secondary school?
And the schools take it seriously. They will do their best to make sure every child is prepared. The results are publicly reported.
In fact, parents say once they hit primary 5, that's it. You're already preparing for the PSLE. And once you get to primary 6, you're just doing revision.
小6会考成绩的总分决定了学生的毕业去向和能够就读的中学。
My dream school is Swiss Cottage, although the aggregate is quite high.
学生的选择决定了他们今后接受的教育，而教育将决定他们未来的职业规划。
Singapore is engaging in the knowledge-based economy, and for knowledge-based economy, education is pretty important.
伊莎贝尔和其他同学要参加的这场考试，或将决定他们未来所接受的教育。
Preparing for the PSLE is a really serious business.
You may begin now. I have to leave everything to God's hands.
在新加坡，教育至关重要。
Do not get the education that make you employable. There is very little else you can do.
回顾过去，能启迪未来。新加坡曾是英国的殖民地，当时英国为了维护其在亚洲的利益，将新加坡建成了国际贸易港口。后来， 新加坡脱离英国统治，加入马来西亚联邦。2年后，为避免发生冲突，新加坡被分离出联邦。自然条件并不优越的新加坡，迫切需要国家的自立自强。
At each stage of our development, we've been nothing more than a group of people in a rather small place. People who need to persuade companies and other countries that we are a useful partner in a competitive global economy.
The common requirement that all these better developed facilities and companies and businesses needed was skilled manpower. And without Singapore's ability to produce that skilled manpower, businesses wouldn't have come.
劳动力是新加坡的唯一资源，而教育是培养高素质劳动力的唯一途径。
Well, I would say that education was our key development strategy in the early years and remains our key development strategy now.
50年后，新加坡依然很重视教育，在外人看来，这或许有点不可思议。
Our philosophy is that each Singaporean needs to be trained to his full potential. It doesn't mean that we believe that every child born in Singapore will end up with a university education. We actually look at the child's strength and we accept that, let's say, take mathematics, that some children will be better than others.
这正是新加坡教育的独特之处。在其他国家，例如美国，人们认为所有学生理应接受同等的教育。
Our system is also characterized by one where we stream or track children after the primary school.
新加坡奉行的教育理念是，所有学生都应该接受适合自己的教育。因材施教得到了高度重视。
We don't try to paper over differences, and we teach them according to their ability.
For example, in secondary school, we have various courses. For the best, they complete their secondary school in 4 years. And for those who are somewhat struggling, they get to do the same thing over 5 years. And then there's another option. If you are somewhat not so good in the academic subjects, you could elect to study more vocational subjects.
Now, in theory that works well, but we've also realized, like others, that there is a risk of stigmatization.
My very worst fear is that I'll go to normal acad or normal tech.
And we try to counter that by providing opportunities in other areas, whether it's arts, sports, music, leadership, to try to give them a common platform to find out their strengths and to build their confidence.
And there's some countries where it's believed that more of a sameness achieves equal results for all. And the reality has been that there have been very large dropout rates when you subject kids to the same education.
Over the years, the Singapore system have managed to cut down on the dropout rate tremendously. Proportion of students who successfully complete secondary school, and it is practically everybody.
We've decided very early on that we've got to differentiate education according to a child's abilities in order to help him or her get as far as possible.
And I think that's where assessment comes in.
通过参加一系列评估考试，每个学生都能发现哪种教育最适合自己。
One reason I think why Singapore system has succeeded is examinations. It gives clarity to the system.
Actually, the PSLE is really a placement exam, meaning it helps the children and the parents to decide which secondary school is best suited for the pupil.
We need to know how well they do relative to other students in the cohort so that they can be suitably placed in a secondary school where they can continue to learn at their own pace.
为了了解每个学生的学习进展，课堂测验在新加坡非常普遍。
Who are the ones who have mastered the basic ideas? Who are the ones who are capable of straightforward application? And who are the ones who are capable of unusual and complex application?
It's true, what the ministry is trying to do is to assess the students where they are at that point at every quarter. Because I think the curriculum is so tight and so demanding that if they don't do that, then they will find that the students actually will struggle. Their grades will not be accurate actually to their learning ability.
If you want to ensure that pupils learn, you got to test. Otherwise, you will not know whether the pupils have learned what you have taught.
Some schools do it as early as primary 1, but I know for my children's school, in primary 3, they start their assessments, what they call continual assessments and semestral assessments.
然而，并非所有人都喜欢学校组织的评估考试。
That's all we do. I would sit with her at the dining table and we'd do the assessment papers, and that's it. You know, and it became such a chore.
And because each term is just 10 weeks, there are times when you go back and all you do is prepare for the next assessment.
So we put a timer on just to test her that she could finish this exam the way it is supposed to be on the exam day.
评估考试不仅反映学生的学习水平，而且反映老师的教学水平。
To a teacher, this is important because it tells me what else I need to do.
It gives us a lot of information on how we can teach that aspect of learning again, or how we can introduce this piece of learning content in future.
There must be informal assessment done by teachers every day, observing students, providing ad hoc help.
If a student has problem understanding what the teacher is teaching, she will put the red card up. If she could understand, she will just flip and will then turn over to the green. If I'm a teacher and I find that 3/4 of my students have the red cards up, then common sense will tell me that I have to stop, pause, and perhaps repeat or re-explain certain part of the lesson.
So really we see assessment as not something that is a stand-alone exam, right? It should be something that is an integral part of learning and teaching. You cannot separate the two.
随着经济的发展，新加坡政府对教育给予高度重视。严格的考试制度使学生能够进入适合自己的中学或大学。学生们首先要面临的便是小6会考，它包括母语、英语、科学和数学4个科目的考试。
My attitude towards maths is always confident, but I don't know why I fail.
She failed at primary 4 as well as primary 5, and even at primary 6. In fact, she still failed.
这让伊莎贝尔的父亲感到不解。
She's actually a very bright girl. I can't understand how come she can fail her maths, because when you actually sit beside her, she can actually do all the questions.
但他的数学老师注意到一些问题。
She didn't take sure steps. She made guesses. In mathematics, you need to have this good habit of making sure steps.
I think the primary weakness would be a lack of confidence.
I can understand why she said to me before, I'm no good, I'm just no good in maths.
She may not be one of those fast learner, right? And she learns slower, and she needs a pace that is slower.
Initially, at the beginning of the year, there were conceptual problems, and we have to address that.
And maybe because of a lack of confidence, she is a bit worried on which step to take.
I feel unsure, like will I get this correct or will I get it wrong? Or maybe my whole method is wrong.
I need to work on the psychological part to find means and ways to tell her, no, you are good, you can do it.
那么，如何使孩子重塑信心？实际上，任何方法都可以。
And Isabel Lee, she bears the same name as our national table tennis player who did us proud at the recent Youth Olympics. So the day after the table tennis game, the first thing I said is I would say, Isabel Lee, did you watch Isabel Lee on TV last night? So little things like that.
伊莎贝尔在考试当天将要怎样的表现？她会再次担心出错，还是会像奥运冠军那样满怀信心？
Unless she makes slips, I'm quite certain that she will pass at the PSLE.
Actually, I am already mentally preparing myself that she may not pass her maths.
和伊莎贝尔一样，在数学上遇到困难的哈姆卡加法尔，已有2次未通过小6会考。
From the beginning, I thought I was doing well until when time passes, my brain, my feelings started. I can't do it. I didn't do well in math because I don't really understand the question, and I do ask from my teachers for some help, but the teacher insists on saying that just look at the board. I show you already. When the result come out, I didn't do well, and they put there fail.
姐姐丽兹从一开始就辅导加法尔的功课。
From my side, I can see that he's not good in his academics. That worries me a lot. So I did prepare myself that I know that he won't do well in his primary living exam.
It's really sad that I didn't make it in secondary school.
老师对个别学生的疏忽，可能与班级人数有关。
The class size in our local system, there are like 40 students in a class.
In primary 1 and 2, they have made the class sizes a lot smaller. It's 30 to a class instead of 40, for example. But once they go to primary 3, the class size jumps back to 40.
To be fair to the teachers, there's one teacher handling 40 students for one subject at one period of time. Certainly that teacher will not be able to listen to 40 students talk.
Again, one teacher to 40, it's a lot to manage.
哈姆卡加法尔的潜力在龙舟赛上才能展现。在这里，数学并不重要，身体素质、毅力和领导力才是关键。那么，对于像加法尔这样的学生，学校有怎样的教育方法？我们首先要了解一下新加坡教育的总体战略。这项战略主张从小根据学生能力实施分流教育，帮助他们获得社会地位提升的机会。
We've achieved it through a system that emphasizes meritocracy and competition at every stage of the game after primary school. Every student selects a school, and every school selects a student. It's competitive, it's based on your abilities and your performance.
精英主义认为，那些最聪明、最勤奋的人会在组织中处于核心地位。在新加坡，这个词经常会被提起，人们对它深信不疑。
Meritocracy and competition is what changes culture. And it changes culture especially in poor families. Because when they can see that putting in the effort results in them being able to move to any school of their choice, whether it be based on an academic ability or sporting ability or musical ability, it changes culture. It's worth putting in the effort.
精英主义不只是理论。新加坡方面的数据显示， 有一半来自低收入家庭的学生考取了小六会考中2/3的高分，从而进入更好的学校，获得社会地位的提升。此外，只要通过小六会考，不论成绩如何，学生都可以升入中学。
For example, we have this thing called the direct school admission, where you can apply to the school that you want to go to based on your other strengths. So for example, if you're a good swimmer, you might apply to a school that focuses a lot on swimming. If you are somewhat good in the fine arts, you can apply to a school that specializes in fine arts, and they will accept you based on that merit.
有人担心精英主义和激烈的竞争会让学生和家长倍感压力，事实的确如此。学校的高标准要求确实给学生带来巨大压力。
When I failed my maths, I felt very sad and disappointed.
家长也因此而紧张不安。
I think the stressful part would be actually maybe on some parents maybe putting additional pressure on their children to excel in their academic studies, and also maybe peer pressure when they see their schoolmates or friends doing very well academically.
The academic stress was very, very intense because he knew that at the end of the year he needed to perform to a certain level to get into a certain school.
I remember in primary 5, in the last the year-end examination, she was so stressed that she actually had an anxiety attack, and she couldn't do the test.
And I succumbed to the stress as well. He's my first child going through the PSLE, and all these other children doing so well, and you know they're going to make it. So what about my son? Where is he going to go, you know?
They would feel disappointed of not being able to join their friends in secondary school.
I can definitely see children getting worried, especially some who are not managing their emotions really well.
Did we want to lose him as he withdrew into his own shell because of a primary 6 exam? I mean, the child is 12 years old. So we decided, you know what? You just do your best, and whatever the outcome is, it's going to be all right. And once we said that, the cloud lifted.
对学习成绩的高度重视，促进了新加坡私人家教行业的迅速发展。在其他发达国家，家长会担心孩子的课外活动过多。在新加坡，孩子们放学后还要参加各种补习班。
It's like a full-time job. She goes out the same time as her dad in the morning, and she comes back the same time. There are days that I don't see her till dinner time. And after dinner, she's doing her homework for school, and she's doing her tuition homework.
On weekdays, they are not allowed to go out. They are not allowed to interact other than in school. So more and more Angela was isolated, and she didn't have friends.
Even school holidays are no longer school holidays. During the June holidays, they are still going back for at least 3 weeks. So after 1 month holiday, they are still studying for the 3 weeks.
She had a delayed birthday party because you can't have a party during term time because no one will come because everyone has tuition, everyone has extracurricular activity. So we said her birthday was in February, and we said, forget it. Why don't we just delay it to the March holidays? And her friends came, and they had a fantastic time because no one had to worry about school.
当然，也有一些人觉得压力没有问题。
We don't really see the stress as much because our teachers ensure that we don't do all these things at the last minute. It is over a period of time that children are prepared for learning and testing. So it's not as if it takes place overnight.
有时候，失败也是课程的一部分。
But I think they will also learn that there must be a reason why they are not doing well.
No use crying over spilled milk, so I just tried harder for the next exam.
And many kids actually picked up from there, and in some cases it became a turning point for them to work harder, to find help when it's needed, and do better in the subsequent stages.
He didn't do well. He got into the normal stream instead of the express stream, which for most Singaporean parents, is a major, major tragedy.
We do send messages to students saying that it is critical that you do your best, otherwise, blah, blah, blah.
They can't look their friends in the eyes because my child is in normal stream. It's a bad thing, you know. He's considered more stupid than other kids.
In Singapore, parents or teachers in general, they set very high standards. We do push the children to do very well.
He got in, no problem, got into the normal stream. And that's when we started watching him grow.
For me, because I work with children who fail, I am very pleased if they achieve even a weak pass. I congratulate the child.
Once he got into secondary school and he saw how well he was doing, I mean, it's not great, but much better relatively than what he was doing. We said, you know, we didn't make a mistake. If normal stream is your speed, it's fine with us. Second choice is not always the worst choice. It could work out better. Yeah.
那么，那些没能考入中学的学生怎么办？那些不适合在教室学习的学生怎么办？在信仰精英主义、竞争异常激烈的新加坡，这些问题是如何解决的？
And for a very small group who somehow have been struggling and still have not managed to learn despite all help given to them, there are now 2 dedicated schools.
2007年，新加坡为没能通过小6会考的孩子们创办了北硕学校。
When we first started, well, technically we are a school for failures. It's meant for those who failed the primary school leaving exam.
After he got his PSLE, that's where he showed me a letter.
When the students failed their primary school exams twice, they received a letter from us and they will participate in Northlight experience. That is to experience a typical day in Northlight before they choose to join us.
哈姆卡·加法尔到北硕学校后，看到一个不同于以往的课堂。
They are teaching those small group students, and every time where a student need help, the teacher always be there to help the student.
加法尔第一次感受到了他需要的关注。
And that's where he told me, okay, this is it. I want to go here. Okay, set.
此外，北硕学校还注重学生的自我形象。
First step that we have started to do was to help the students to redefine success. That there are many meanings of success. When they fail their primary school exam, they just fail one major exams, but it doesn't mean that they have failed in life. When Hamka first came to us, he was feeling low in terms of self-confidence and self-esteem.
I know him. He's a very quiet boy. He don't have confidence in what he do.
We have always been telling our students that we do not want people to pity them, but we want them to live with dignity.
老师们发现，哈姆卡·加法尔的动手能力很强，课外兴趣广泛。
And when he experienced small successes through the opportunities, he slowly gained his level of confidence.
加法尔看到一个全新的自己，他喜欢上学了。
No matter if even there's like a sickness trying to stop me to come to school, I just force myself to come to school.
You mean when you're sick, you still want to go to school?
I don't want to miss lesson.
Now he's able to see beyond himself and even think of contributing to others.
加法尔在北硕学校获得了成功，他的下一个目标是公益教育学院。2年前，他都不敢奢望进这所学校。同过去一样，他必须参加入学考试。
Some friends, outside friends say, hey, you go Northlight. Northlight will never go ITE.
不同以往的是，加法尔在公益教育学院的入学考试中取得了骄人成绩。
first person I always think is my big sister, because she always asking me, how's your result, how's your result, how's your result.
Yes, I told him I didn't believe it. I told him no, I don't think so. Until like I go back home, then I saw it. It's like okay, good for you, good for you.
北硕学校的校长认为，加法尔的成功反映了一种更深刻的教育理念。
You see, in a society, you need different strata of people, and many of our students are good with their hands, right? And we want to acknowledge that, and we want to recognize that. They can then form the hands and the legs in the society, because not every one of us can be the head and the mouth, all right? We can talk about it, we are thinkers, but all these people are doers. But it's all right, we need them, in fact, all right, to just make the society complete.
Institute of Technical Education, called the ITE, produces graduates. 90 to 95% of them are employed within 6 months of graduation. So the industry finds them well trained and employable.
现在，哈姆卡加法尔又有了新的梦想。
To be a firefighter.
That's his dream.
他也有了新的人生观。
Keep on moving forward, no matter there's an obstacle trying to stop you. Keep going until you reach the success of your life.
The best part is for others to say that we have transformed this school of failures to a school of innovation or a school of character.
I'm really happy, for him.
正是教育，使这个仅有400万人口的国家创造了举世瞩目的经济奇迹。新加坡最初的发展战略是引进外资，因此国家需要大量训练有素的劳动力。
Very beginning, even before my time, it was a stage of what we call survival education.
We did not have enough resources to cater to diverse needs of learners.
这种以技能培养为目标的教育制度成效显著。在评价经济发展与潜力的全球竞争力报告中，新加坡教育在2007年、2009年和2010年均排在首位。然而，以获得直接经济效益为目标的人才培养是否完美无缺呢？
I know of a lot of people that are failing maths when they were in school, and they are doing very, very well now.
新加坡教育是否该有更深层的内涵？
Our students are being known for discipline and being able to handle content-rich assessments. But there's a flip side to this as well.
A lot of people would say that they are well qualified in terms of academic qualifications, but if you look at a lot of Singaporeans today, not all, but a lot, you can't consider them educated because the basic, simple things in life, they actually overlook. They're getting more self-centered generally, but I think they lost the whole emphasis of life.
新加坡教育向来注重硬技能，例如数学、科学与读写能力。现在，软技能是否该成为学校教育的一方面呢？
I'd love to see some balance in some softer skills, like who's going to teach the child compassion, who's going to teach the child empathy. And this is what's really lacking, I feel, in the kids of today, because they're fighting for themselves.
Our priorities have changed. It's no longer about providing employment per se, but about providing better paid jobs and jobs that give a sense of satisfaction and autonomy to the individual.
When we analyze our own system, we think our students could do better in terms of aspects related to critical thinking, creativity, holistic development.
I think there's too much emphasis on examinations, especially on the structured way of education, on all the basic subjects like maths and science.
There's an ability in every child. It's not the same ability. And we've got to find a way of drawing it out, either by teaching him or her differently from the rest, or by discovering some strength that they have that isn't easily reflected in a conventional education system.
So we have the School of the Arts, the Sports School, we have High School of Maths and Science that recognize the different abilities of children.
There are all these new School of the Arts, all these things are very new. In my time, we never had these opportunities. It was the National University of Singapore and nothing else, and if you didn't get in, well, that's too bad, you know. But now we have so many other opportunities.
Early primary stage education now is completely different from what it was 30 or 40 years ago. It's about children learning to learn for themselves. It's about play, it's about initiative, it's about having the confidence to speak.
For my youngest child, who is now in primary 3, when he started in primary 1 and primary 2, he didn't have any assessments, not in the same way that my son and daughter had. His was a more holistic assessment, and I can see a change there. They were assessing him on skills like oral presentations, on how he interacted with his friends. And I think this is really going in the right direction. But once he hit primary 3, it was all back to the same continual assessment, semestral assessment. You are effectively preparing for the PSLE.
在新加坡，当谈到教育制度的核心时，他们给出了全世界几乎都会认同的观点。
If I had limited resources and there was one single item in the educational process that I had to put my resources in, my answer would be producing good teachers.
I have always wanted to teach in a primary school, mainly because I like the company of children.
亚洲国家有着尊师重教的优良传统，过去的学生对老师有着发自内心的敬重。
The Asian societies, we tend to honor teachers, but in today's more critical society, I don't think they are respected just for the fact that they are teachers. I think it must be because they are doing a good job.
在新加坡，人们绝不会认为教师只会空谈，不会实际操作。
Teachers have to know their subjects. That sounds intuitive to anyone in any other profession, but there are educational establishments that haven't placed enough importance on that very simple fact. Teachers have to know their subjects extremely well in order to be able to impart knowledge with confidence, inspire students to learn on their own. You've got to know something about the subject.
From a time when we had no college graduates teaching in primary school, even as recent as in the late 80s, to today where we have 50% of our primary school teachers having a college degree.
If you take mathematics, for instance, less than 50% of teachers in the US have had training in university in mathematics. In Singapore, it is well over 3/4.
为了吸引教学人才，新加坡政府投入大笔教育经费。
With the government willing to pay more for teachers, I think we are attracting a group of higher quality people to come into teaching.
But what's important is that we focus on motivating teachers throughout their careers. That has to mean that you've got to pay them as well as the market would pay for alternative careers. But it also means motivating them by giving them the opportunity to grow in the course of their careers.
Yes, teachers go for a lot of training.
There's ample structures in the system for them to continually develop themselves.
Sometimes the school deploys us to undergo certain training to meet school needs. Then there is departmental needs, there is individual needs. So I can get to choose to attend the courses that I want to.
This has to be a profession of choice, not a profession of last resort. Promotion is based on merit, not seniority, so that whoever's heading a school is enthusiastic, innovative, and willing to invest for many years ahead.
Ministry said that I have a choice whether I want to head the school or not because they know that it's going to be a very difficult project. So I took some time to think about it, and I also shared with my husband, and my husband asked me a very important question. Why am I doing what I'm doing? if your internal GPS asks you to do something, then you better do it. So at the end of the day, I accepted the position.
薪酬激励、职业发展和晋升机会都是留住老师的方法，但老师们选择教学有一样的初衷，那就是为了孩子。
And I get enough satisfaction seeing that they enjoy a particular activity of yours, or seeing that they have improved significantly. That makes me feel very good.
Select good teachers, train them well, reward them well, and retain them. That's the best way in which we can get more for less.
成功该如何定义？它只是报告、研究和其他排名榜上的名次吗？人们又当如何才能意识到自己的成功？
When they came in, they disliked mathematics, but now 8 in 10 said that they like the subject.
To be able to look at a novel or non-routine question, welcomes that task, seeks smart ways to go about it, and actually in the process of problem solving to experience joy.
To have a toolkit of skills that really counts for something in the market.
All I want from her is to be a really educated person in life in general, not just academic qualifications.
I think that if I can have my pupils achieving that level, I will be really very successful.
Where does a child derive his or her value from? Is it only in academia? Is it only in how good they do, in how many A's they get? Or is it in the person that they've been brought up to be?
I think in life it's very important to be a good person and don't give me any trouble and headache down the road.
小六会考成绩要到2个月后才能公布。学校、家庭、运动和朋友依旧是伊莎贝尔日常生活的组成部分。这2个月又不同寻常，因为它充满了期盼与等待。当伊莎贝尔、其他同学以及他们的家人聚集在学校体育馆时，他们都在想最终的成绩怎样，未来会是一条怎样的道路，这条路又将通向何方？当成绩优秀的学生上台领奖时，伊莎贝尔正远远地看着。最后，学生们该排队返回教室了。考试成绩即将公布。
Isabel?
或许因为紧张，或许因为要面对镜头，伊莎贝尔没有看成绩。最后，大家鼓励她打开了成绩单。
I passed my maths and science.
伊莎贝尔顺利通过了小六会考，但2个 A、2个 C 并不是她想要的结果，因为这样的成绩意味着她无法进入理想的中学。
Not so good.
孩子们兴奋地谈论着考试成绩。对某些学生来说，这一天值得庆祝；对某些学生来说，这一天就像噩梦。对教师而言，这一天也很重要。
All of them have done better than in their school exams. Okay, but by my standard, I expect a few more A's.
伊莎贝尔通往理想中学的道路被阻断了，她不知该如何抉择。
I feel disappointed. Yeah.
193分的总成绩意味着她可以进瑞士村中学的普通班，也可以进普通中学的重点班，这很难选择。
She might have made some slips in the exam because I think she is at least a B grader by my standard. Yeah.
这是百感交集的一天。伊莎贝尔把成绩告诉了家人，她觉得自己也有出色的表现。
See my Chinese A and I never passed my Chinese school, right?
压力、拼搏、胜利、失望，这是成长过程中的必经之路，也是发现和培养学生天赋的重要途径。
Be a firefighter.
新加坡的教育旨在为学生们找到合适的发展道路。
And we teach them according to their ability.
不论走哪条路，到进入社会时，他们都能正确看待自己，清楚自己的强项，并贡献一份力量。
That's what I'd like to see, that the child does not derive their value just from what they can do, but who they are.
学习是获得成功的一条途径，但不是唯一途径。通过重新定义成功，激发每个孩子的潜能，新加坡的教育制度正在悄悄发生变革。
These are the moments that make me feel really good about what I'm doing.
And as you trace what we're trying to do throughout the school system, it's about developing children who are enthusiastic about life and all the possibilities that it can bring.